Good morning, everyone. My name is Terrance J. I am the president of the California Lawyers Association. I'm the first person of color and the first black person to lead the California Bar in its history. I'm also here on behalf of the National Bar Association, where I serve as director of Region 9, and I stand here in opposition to Resolution 802. It is impossible to have this discussion about Resolution 802 without taking into consideration the history of this organization. The National Bar Association, which I represent, was born out of the rejection of African Americans to be part of this organization. It was in 1912 where there were a group of African Americans who applied to be a part of the American Bar Association. They were turned away because of the color of their skin, and it is because of that, in 1925, they founded the National Bar Association. And from that founding, we had the founding of affinity bar associations across the United States, the Hispanic National Bar Association, National APABA, the LGBTQ bar associations. It was all born out of a denial to be represented and included in the American Bar Association. Today, we're voting on more than just a resolution. We are voting on history. We're voting on morality. We are voting on legacy. Every news organization across the United States will report on what we do today. And the question for this body is, how will we be perceived? How will our children and grandchildren perceive what we do here? Are we going to be inclusive? Are we going to be a place where people from all backgrounds can see that they have a home to be part of this organization? As I got ready to come here, I spoke to leaders across the country in affinity bar associations, and they said, Terrance, do I have a home in the American Bar Association? Will I be welcomed? Will I be received? And I said, yes, because we're going to go there and we're going to fight for justice. It is time for us to stand up and do the right thing. It is time for us to not be afraid of this administration. It is time for us to send a signal to everybody that we are going to stay true to our morals and the cause of who we are as an organization. The American Bar Association has set the standard for diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have set the standard for law schools and law firms all across America that we will not back down. We have the smartest lawyers, we have the smartest law professors, we have the most capable people in this country to fight for justice. It is not time for us to turn our back on our core values. There is an alternative approach here. As has been communicated, the council is independent. They do not have to accept any recommendations from this body. If, in addition to rejecting 802, you accept 801, you will have the opportunity to give the council the freedom to make whatever decision they want without coming back, but also sending a message that we will not back down from our core values. We will not back down from what makes this organization great. We will not send a message to history that we were too afraid of what could happen in the future. I want to encourage all of you to send a message to every law student in this country, every law firm in this country, and this administration that we are going to do the right thing. We are going to vote for our legacy. We're going to vote for our history. We are going to fight for what is right without being intimidated. We have no one else that's going to come to save us. It is us who will save ourselves. I have the utmost respect for the proponents of 802. I've worked with the great Joe West and many of the others on the other side. But today I stand here to encourage you to have a spine. I stand here to encourage you to stand up for what you believe in, what your children believe in, and what the future will hold. Will we look back on the history of the National Bar Association 50 years from now and find that we were too afraid to do what was right? Will we look back on history and say that we were too afraid of what this administration might do? Or will we say we stood up? We proudly stood up for justice. We proudly stood up for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we did not back down. If I go down, I'm going to go down and win a fight. I'm not going to go down cowering in fear and worried about what other people are going to say. I am going to do what's right, and I want everybody in this room to do what's right. You must fight for justice. You must fight for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and do not be intimidated. They can't take all of us down. Together, we are stronger than any force that works against us. Together, we will achieve what we are proud to achieve, and that is fighting for justice, civil rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Do not back down. Stand strong. Thank you. Thank you very much.